nature of the farm was such, and my great-grandparents. These were two individuals who worked hard and didn't have a lot to say. Not that they didn't have thoughts, but every day required a whole bunch of actions to keep the whole thing going. The truck garden had to be harvested at a certain time. Feeding all those animals had to be done every day. The chickens, the pigs, the turkeys, the whole 9 yards. Working on a farm, I never had a day in which I woke up and thought, I don't want to do this. I would rather do something else. This is boring. I don't like this. I never had a day like that. Everybody just got up before day in the morning. I got to go out. I got to get that wood, get it in. So great-grandma Vic could, fire up the wood-burning stove and get the breakfast going. We'd all eat and then fan out to do our chores. So that is basically the approach I've taken with anything that I wanted to do or learn, is that the only way to do it is to do it. There's nothing to it but to do it. Just do it.
I want you standing by my side. Tell me to face the rising tide. Be whatever you want to be, but please want you to ride with me.
Welcome back to Ashford Gordon from the beginning. I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting me in this project. We're just past halfway, and I've enjoyed offering you this look back through the years. The blues scene in Ventura was struck a serious blow when Joe Daddy's Cajun Kitchen closed abruptly and the building was sold to new owners who opened a restaurant, the Santa Clara House. And of course, most of the performing opportunities went away, though the new owners kept me on as a solo act for a period of time, so I needed a new residency for a weekly gig. I took several mornings to go from restaurant to restaurant, seeking owners and managers to which I submitted my press package. The mornings were the time the managers did their books, placed orders for food and supplies, paid bills, and reviewed their staffing needs to ensure sufficient wait persons, cooks, and busboys to handle their anticipated trade for that day. But I had learned that it was the only time I could be sure to catch them and not interfere with their revenue-generating activities. I knew that in most cases my package would go directly into the round file without so much as a glance. But that was the nature of the business, and wearing out shoe leather was my manner of increasing the odds that one of these managers would take a look and give me a call. One blustery, fog-shrouded morning, as I was about to give up the hunt, I passed the modern wooden structure perched on the beginning of the pier just over the beach, and it occurred to me that there had never been entertainment on the pier at the large seafood restaurant, Eric Erickson's. The building, still in operation, is a two-story beauty with large windows all around and a wide wraparound deck on the second floor, which offered unparalleled views across the Santa Barbara Channel to the three islands within 25 miles of Ventura's pier: Anacapa, Santa Cruz, and Santa Rosa. Rapping firmly on the glass door at the main entrance, I waited for a response. 2 more attempts, and a cook found his way from the kitchen where he was prepping for the day's business, and advised that he would see if his manager would come down to speak with me. I'd given the press kit to the cook in the event that the manager would not see me. I was hoping that this direct approach might pique the manager's interest. 5 minutes later, a tall, strawberry blonde opened the door and asked me to step inside for a moment. I was pleasantly surprised. I'd only had experience with one other female restaurant manager. The industry was dominated, with a number of notable exceptions, by hard-nosed men with little patience or courtesy. After pleasantries, the manager motioned for us to sit down. I looked around the large open room as I seated myself and thought how live this room would sound with all the hard surfaces around me: glass, wood, tile and stainless steel. She asked me if I was looking for a home for my blues band. I answered that we'd been working at Joe Daddy's for the past few months, but only twice a month. I wanted to establish the band for a weekly residency. I told her we could create a draw for the restaurant and that I'd be willing to work with her on our fee. The manager advised that Eric's had been on the pier for a couple of years and had never had entertainment. So why should the restaurant give up a couple of $1,000s a month in profit to perhaps alienate some percentage of their guests, as everyone doesn't like blues? I answered that they should do it to make the restaurant a destination for, say, Sunday afternoon, before the bars get their bands going. I pointed out that her beverage trade would go up, and with this wonderful deck upstairs, I asked if they got a lot of guests wanting to sit there. She told me actually no, because the wind coming off the ocean is cold and biting at that height, and there's nothing to break it. It was mostly lovers who wanted to be alone and smokers who frequented the deck. I told her I'd be willing to work that deck, and with a minimal outlay of money, the restaurant could install clear, heavy poly sheeting from the eaves to the partition that ran around the deck. Get some of those pavilion-type heaters for days that are especially cold, and I was betting I could get the bar upstairs filled and a crowd outside who will want to drink and have a good time on a Sunday afternoon. She said, "You have an excellent sense for business." And she remembered Charlie's, the most popular restaurant she'd ever worked for, had Sunday afternoon entertainment. And they had repeat customers coming specifically because of the bands. She agreed to lay this out for the owner to see if he would give me a try. A few weeks later, Eric Erickson signed a booking agreement for a month of Sundays to start. And with a little help from another advertising campaign, we had the bar upstairs filled and another nearly 100 patrons on the deck, where we would set up in a corner and play to both sides of the deck, which was shaped like an L. As good as all of this was, I ran into a major problem with our keyboard player, Chris. Turned out he had grown up in Lincoln, Nebraska, and had frequented the Zoo Bar there, which regularly booked national blues acts, and he had seen his favorite, Magic Slim, dozens of times, and held in his heart a desire to play guitar like Magic Slim and Lucky Peterson. He related this to me after our weekly Eric's gig toward the end of the summer of 1996. He wanted to switch to guitar, while I wanted to continue as the only guitar in the band, so we were clearly at loggerheads. I determined to give Chris an audition to fairly judge what impact his switching to guitar would have on the band's sound. Sadly, when I declined to approve of the switch, offering instead a few tunes in the set list where he could develop as a guitarist, but I would still have the band configuration that I wanted, Chris left the band on the spot, and needing a replacement, but having no keyboard player on my list, rehearsed up for the gigs on my calendar, I turned to Jackie Lomax, the Englishman from Wallasey. It seems Chris had succeeded in turning my band into a two-guitar band after all. Here I'd like to present the song More Blues and Gray, featuring Jackie Lomax on first guitar, D.C. Kramer on bass, Dave Stewart on drums, Hippie Mark on blues harp, and myself on vocals and second guitar, followed by Let the Child Live from the Planetary Man Sessions, featuring Gabriel Gordon on first guitar, bass guitar, and backing vocal, David Goodstein on drums, and yours truly on vocals and second guitar.
Everyone wants to save themselves to get to the top all alone. But before you hit a stair, you better think and stop long. Something about all they say, we've come to the end of the dark clouds sail to the skies more blue than gray. crazy boy staring at the world outside, wondering how in hell to survive. They taught him how to walk the line, learning to control his world inside. But let your child live. Our dreams keep welling up from deep inside, waiting for a break in the world outside. Just keeps getting tougher all the time to be a man and still be a child. Let your child live.
Next week, we'll follow the band from a 2.5-year residency at Eric Erickson's to our new home at the Banana Belt Cantina on the California Plaza. The addition of Hippie Mark to the band, along with new bass player Oris Bellaband. See you next week for another Ashford Gordon Throwback Thursday. Bye.
Bud walked in, he sat right down, said there's a lot of pain in this town. I was wondering while he spoke if he realized that it sounded like a joke. Bud says, That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is.